What are you going to tell your child when they come home from school crying because their best friend was just taken out of their classroom by an immigration agent?
Adios, muchacho.
Treating migrants humanely.
Yes.
But there's been reports of them on planes with no water,
That was a bunch of
complaining.
crap. That was a bunch of crap.
What do you mean a bunch of crap?
ICE detention facilities had the highest detention standards in the industry. Any of the ICE standards, our detention standards are higher than any state or federal or local facility in the nation, in the world. Someone should go to the ICE website, look at PBNDS 11, performance-based detention standards, and look at our detention standards, highest in industry.
But are you sure you're only getting illegal criminal migrants? I mean, there were some pictures over the weekend of people that claim to be students, Brazilian students, who were showing examples of bruises on their arms from American deportation flights.
That's ridiculous, but if they want to make a complaint, it'll be investigated.
But your assurance is what?
The men and women at ICE are professionals. We do this for a living. And I can tell you, I ran ICE for years. I was the first director of ICE came up through the ranks. Again, these men and women are professional, highest detention standards in the industry. We take care of these people. But we're going to enforce the law, and we're not going to apologize for doing it. And
you're going to do it in a sort of public way with, do you need to use the big military planes? Is that part of a sort of shock and awe tactic? No. They haven't been used before, have they, for migrants?
No, we got President Trump. We're going to use all the government to secure our border, which is the biggest national security vulnerability this country's ever seen. And we're going to enforce laws in this country. It's not okay to enter this country illegally. It's a crime. And when you cause a crisis as big as the Biden administration caused, when you overwhelm the Border Patrol, but they can't do their national security job, that's when the fentanyl come across, kill 250,000 Americans. That's when you have a 600% increase in sex trafficking. That's when you have a record number of no-inspected terrorists coming across an open border. President Trump's going to secure the border as promised to the American people. We're going to enforce immigration laws. That's what we're going to do, without apology. We're on board. We're going to go forward. You're going to see it get a hell of a lot bigger in the near future.
Why do people hate having a safe country? That doesn't make sense. These so-called news reporters aren't reporters. They're activists.
In the 7 minutes that you and I have been talking about, 2 people have died from fentanyl overdoses. 1 person has been shot to death in this country, and 3 people have been raped. The resources of the FBI will go to that mission set and that mission set alone, because America deserves a better brand of justice, and I'm going to give it to them.
Donald Trump is not playing. Yo, this man only been in office for a week. No more Transformers. Decepticons out of box. Damon, you is a boy. You heard me? 2, Section 8. He putting that shit on freeze. So you hold that got y'all last EBT check. Y'all better make it happen this month.
I thought Plies came back, but Trump is standing on business. Promises made, promises kept.
I don't really care. You want penises in women's bathrooms, and I'm not going to have it.
Okay.
No, thank you.
It's
disgusting.
The gentlelady has used a phrase that is considered a slur in the LGBTQ community and the transgender community. And let me please finish without interruption. And
I don't really care. You want penises in women's bathrooms, and I'm not going to have it.
Okay.
No, thank you.
It's
disgusting. Does this advance the interests of American citizens paying for in Guatemala to the tune of $2 million?
To me, a slur is a slur. And here in the committee, a level of decorum requires us to try consciously to avoid slurs. And so I would ask, as a parliamentary inquiry, whether the use of that phrase is not, in fact, a violation of the decorum rules.
Mr. Chairman, I'm not going to be counseled by a man over men and women's spaces or men who have mental health issues dressing as women. I'm not being counseled by some guy.
My inquiry is to the chairman.
How did this Karanos, the final boss of Karens, get this job? An absolute parasite in public funds. You know, I really love how Nancy stands on business and is trying to protect women's rights, while others are trying to erode them.
How about with an O?
How you doing? Look, let me start out by saying this. If I offend anybody today, I don't give a shit.
The truth does not give a rat's ass about your feelings. One thing that I really like about Tom Homan is that he puts the people and America first, unlike most politicians who are only in it for their own greed.
Security mission is equally as important. Anyone that wishes to do harm to our way of life and our citizens here or abroad will face the full wrath of the Department of Justice and the Federal Bureau of Investigation. And if you seek to hide in any corner of this country or any corner of this planet, we will put on the world's largest manhunt and we will find you and we will decide your end state, not you. We will uphold the Constitution. We will uphold ourselves to the Constitution.
Tell me about Beyonce.
Despite her repeated denials, Beyonce was paid.
Who was she paid by?
The Harris campaign. She was paid tens of thousands of dollars to give a speech that no one wanted to hear. And Kamala Harris thought all of these people came out to Texas to hear her speak. Yeah, right. Beyonce came out and gave this speech, this boring ass speech, and just left without performing. And then Kamala Harris got booed. Cardi B was paid. Cardi B, who famously said she wasn't paid, her production company was paid to show up.
Don't fucking ask me. I don't give a fuck the resume that they send. I don't give a fuck. I'm not endorsing no fucking presidents no more. Because we could fund two wars. Motherfuckers talking about we don't got it, but we got it. Like, we're the greatest nation. No, the fuck we're not. We're talking some right now. Yeah, hold on. I got more.
Katy Perry was paid. Christina Aguilera was paid. Oprah wasn't paid $1 million. She was paid $2 million, okay? Let's be very clear.
$2 million.
$2 million to Harpo Productions. Flip Harpo backwards. It spells out Oprah. It's Oprah's production company. Meryl Streep calls her Madam President. It was a love fest for Kamala Harris. Al Sharpton was paid $500,000 moments before he interviewed her, okay? An MSNBC anchor, Al Sharpton, was paid money. A so-called journalist was paid money moments before he interviewed the vice president. People like Roland Martin, who are attacking me now, he was paid $350,000 to interview Kamala, advertising costs, okay? The Pennsylvania Democratic Party was paid $25 million after the chair raised hell for not being paid enough street money.
Wrong. The Kamala Harris campaign paid Beyonce millions, not thousands. You spent all that money and you still lost. But the more I dive deep into this subject, the more I believe that Kamala Harris' campaign was just one big laundering scheme. It was never about winning the campaign because they spent $2.5 billion in 15 weeks and still lost.
This Kamala Harris supporter blurted out a statement so foolish that even Charlie Kirk could not hide his anger.
My question is, when you go to these like major Republican conservative events, do you face some bias when you're speaking, or do you like actually believe everything that you're saying in a way?
Yes, I do believe everything I'm saying. Yeah, I think that's a bad faith question because your assumption is that we are insincere in our beliefs. But the woman that you're supporting, Kamala Harris, and her running mate Walls paper, they said that the free speech is a privilege. It is not a privilege like a driver's license. So in the spirit of hearing ideas that we might always hear, tell us why you're supporting Kamala Harris.
I like that she's trying to like work for the middle class. That's what I see a lot, and I think that's what she is.
I have a question. What has she or Joe Biden done for the middle class in the last 4 years?
No, not too sure about that.
That's okay. I want to encourage you to do your research because it's very tempting to fall for propaganda that you just see on TV. Think about what we said.
Let's turn Arizona blue, everybody.
You can't answer. You couldn't say 3 words in a row. Bad faith actor, man. I try my best to find common ground. You say something like that. It's ridiculous.
Every time I see a grown-ass man supporting Kamala Harris, I know he eats a Snicker bars upside down so he can taste the veiny part on his tongue. You know, he's afraid to do his research because he's afraid what he'll find.
Come on in. Oh, I forgot it's a push door. So right here's the pole. And then we have the kitchen.
That was fire.
Now, before I take questions, I would like to address an extremely dishonest narrative that we've seen emerging over the past few days. Many outlets in this room have been fear-mongering the American people into believing there is a constitutional crisis taking place here at the White House. I've been hearing those words a lot lately. But in fact, the real constitutional crisis is taking place within our judicial branch, where district court judges in liberal districts across the country are abusing their power to unilaterally block President Trump's basic executive authority.
We, the people, deserve the truth, nothing but the truth. These people need to be held accountable.
Giving the explanations here because you don't believe the reader is smart enough to understand the language is kind of propaganda.
Well, no, see, do you know who that audience is for?
For people who can't read it.
Yeah, that's a constitution for third graders.
Why do you, as like a professional pundit, think it's fair to come to college campuses and debate like college freshmen? Like, doesn't that seem like kind of unfair to you?
Go bring 10 libs. You can all have your phones, and you could debate me, and I'll have no notes, and we'll see who wins.
What do you think the biggest threat is to the United States currently?
The American left.
Killing the babies.
What? Killing what?
It's a clump of cells.
You're a clump of cells.
About anything outside of your bubble?
What do you think about Karl Marx? Karl Marx.
Karl Marx.
Bingo.
Hey, this guy looks like he's a happy camper. He's a happy... That's right.
You do not know more than a third grader about the U.S. Constitution.
If you don't see the article.
Yeah, I actually know it. You should keep it.
I swear, these are only issues you can only find in the USA.
I'm trans, and I am proud of it.
And I support my trans wife every step of the way.
Not that many steps, it would seem there. Man, that was a rough watch. That one hurt me here. It hurt me right here. Why do you guys send me this shit, man? I don't want to fucking see it no more.
My message to young men is don't allow this broken culture to send you a message that you're a bad person because you're a man, because you like to tell a joke, because you like to have a beer with your friends, or because you're competitive. The cultural message, and I think the president's and mine is the exact opposite, but our cultural message is I think that it wants to turn everybody, into, whether male or female, into androgynous idiots who think the same, talk the same, and act the same. We actually think God made male and female for a purpose, and we want you guys to thrive as young men and as young women, and we're going to help with our public policy to make it possible to do that.
The fact that people will still find this wrong and get mad drives me absolutely nuts.
Did you see the CBS interview with J.D. Vance? She was like, this is a country built on immigrants. He's like, yes. That doesn't mean that 240 years later we have to have the dumbest immigration policy possible.
This is a country founded by immigrants.
Well, this is a country founded by...
country.
This is a very unique country, and it was founded by some immigrants and some settlers, but just because we were founded by immigrants doesn't mean that 240 years later that we have to have the dumbest immigration policy in the world.
Oh my God, it's a masterclass. He just...
Yeah, he is
he's
impressive.
so good.
He is really good.
Has
he been on your show?
Yeah, he's great. Thank God for that guy.
Now, ladies and gentlemen, that's it for today's video. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe.
It's like, this is what people love about Donald Trump. The fact that he would say this.
Mr. President, can you just respond to Kamala Harris's campaign attacking you for being in this town because they say there were white supremacists here a month ago? The town condemned it.
Who was here in 2021? Thank you. Thank you, everybody.